Another one.
It's the Catican.
Hold up.
At this point of the show, Jarrett delivered an intro that was, well, probably a little too hot for YouTube. We've since decided to cool things down and spare the algorithm any unnecessary stress. Now, back to the regularly scheduled chaos.
Kentucky beats A&M 81-69. Nice. Fellas, how we feeling?
Good, man. Another top 15 win. That intro, though, that's okay. Good. Jaxson played really well again. Get an SEC win at home, which is any SEC win. It looks like it's going to be tough. Not everyone's even holding serve, at home so far. So good win. And Otega with the poster of the year. I don't think anyone's topping that.
And almost 3 in a row. Had he not been fouled. I think you got to be happy with it. I think it was. It's probably a bigger win than any of us predicted, score margin wise. Always good to win at home, especially in a stacked league like this.
It kind of felt like a tale of two halves. So the first half was. It's not like we played bad. It was just frustrating because we were getting good looks and the shots just weren't coming down. And it seemed like A&M just were shooting the lights out in the first half. It seemed like it was kind of artificially keeping it close. So, but I wasn't panicked. I just felt like in the second half, if Texas A&M came back down to their average and we shot up to our average, that the game would sort itself out. And that's exactly what happened. And oh my goodness, Jaxson Robinson. If this is Jaxson now, look out. Naismith ranks ain't decided yet.
I mean, this is Jaxson when Jackson's like not thinking too much and just playing. When he's, it seems like he kind of got out of his own head a little bit. He wants this so bad. And for Kentucky specifically, like he wants to do this in this jersey so badly. He wants to leave a legacy, be part of the, part of something bigger than himself. And I think that's a big reason he came back. And, he did have some decent NBA grade outs. He could have been, in that life already, but I think it's you're going to see more of this. He's kind of taken over. He's showing what he can do. And, man, he really he was really excited to see Buzz Williams, I think, on a couple of those threes. Just want to make sure Buzz saw that he hit those shots and stuff. I don't know, maybe he wasn't paying enough attention, so just Jax let him know real quick. But it's really good to see.
Yeah, man, it looks like he's having fun too. That's huge. I saw somebody shared Jaxson Robinson in the last 2 games, 49 points, 17 of 29, 12 of 25 from 3. Perfect from the free throw line, 11 boards, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. And that's awesome to see. I know the season didn't start out the way he wanted it to. And we all thought he was great even then. And then just to see him these last couple games, everything comes so easy to him, and it's a blast to watch.
Even at the beginning of the game, it seemed like he came out intent on, okay, I'm going to come out and I'm going to start attacking. And the shots weren't falling in the beginning for the entire team. But I like that he didn't let that shake him, and he just kept shooting that thing. And boy, did it look good. When he hit the step back in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
That was disgusting. I think that may have been where he looked back after that one at the bench.
Oh, he did it a couple of times where I thought it was really good. So he misses those first 3 threes, if I'm not mistaken. But then he comes down on the next play, and he is an NBA level play where he uses the rim to protect him. So he went all the way under the hoop, and the layups, the way he did it, he was locked in, man. So it wasn't, because admittedly he's even said he's had times where he's, he hangs his head a little bit when he misses some shots, or it's not going super well. But it didn't seem like that was the case tonight. He kind of like found another way to contribute until the shot got going, and then it did. He did end up making 5 more threes. Big time shots, just the one technical, didn't get 2, so it worked out for him.
He had one specifically second half, missed a shot, but very much stayed engaged, tapped the ball out, turned into a nice dunk down low. Just because he stayed with it, and kept his eye on the ball, didn't give up on the play.
He had a great play where. Oh, go ahead, Jared. Sorry.
I love the John at the other team's bench because you don't do that unless you're feeling confident, and I feel like that's been the only thing that's been holding Jaxson back is just his willingness to just be like, I'm going to be the best player on the court tonight, and there's nothing that the other team can do about it, because he has all the skills in the world. It's just when he decides, I'm going to be the best player.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and he really does have that it fact. Like it seems like he almost relishes those type of moments a little bit. I think, it might be a little bit of that Kirk. I don't, him and Kirk Kriisa seem to be pretty good friends. Might be rubbing off a little bit, but my favorite play he had all night though is when he drove, and I don't know how he lasered the pass in the corner to Perry for that corner shot, but that was electric to see that was on a rope and just hit him right in the pot. I mean, just. Man, Rupp loves them some Travis Perry, man. I mean, too. Kid could shoot, but man, does it pop loud when that kid hits a shot.
When is the novelty of Travis Perry hitting threes going to wear off? Because they're doing anything but screaming shoot every time he touches the balls, like they do for the walk-ons.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, like, because he's not like some Make-A-Wish kid. The kid can hoop. He's getting like real backup minutes for a national title contending team, and he's out there producing. And Buzz tried to go at him a few times. They isolated him in defense. And the first play they went at him, didn't he get a steal, or he disrupted the play at least? I think. I know he had right when he got in, he had a stop and a score. Right, like the three. So, I mean, I don't know when will it wear off. That is interesting because he's not the victory cigar. He's like important to the team. Like he's getting real minutes. So.
There was one of those where he had a steal that turned into good offense on the other end too, but there still are some moments for him where he's just not used to the physicality or not athletic enough yet, and I said at some point he fouled like Lance Ware. I mean, just kind of flinging his body around, no control at all. And I think that'll come with time. I mean, I think a lot of that is him just adjusting to the game at this pace. Being out of position, trying to compensate, not being controlled. But today he had to play quite a bit. I don't know how many minutes did he have. I guess only 10 minutes today, but that's huge as a freshman with these older guys that are there and can get looks for him like Jaxson did on that one play. That's great for his development, even if we wish it was Lamont or Kerr for our offense at the moment.
Lamont got pretty beat up. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I want Kerr back so bad. You could tell that he wants to play too, because when Travis hit that three and Kerr basically walks out the half court screaming.
Oh, dude, what a teammate though. That guy is so he's just. But he wants it so bad for these guys too. He's not. I mean, he'll be back sooner rather than later. But yeah, we need him back. But Perry's doing great, man. Like filling in that role. It is interesting that Perry's emerged like that. I didn't see that coming at all. Honestly, I thought it'd be a year away for sure in any like functional capacity. But that he did have a freshman mistake on. I think he was the inbounder when they tried to force the inbounds to Amari. But that's what the play called for. But it just wasn't there. Like he needs to pass it somewhere else. But he competes, man. I really like his game. He's going to be really good, really good. Like you say, though, he'll have to get a little quicker and get used to the physicality, but he's a really good player. A lot better than I thought he'd be this early.
The vibes are on this team, on every guy on this team, are unbelievable. And I know that goes from the top down because the way that Pope encourages them and everything like that. But it all seems like they really enjoy playing with each other and that they're all having fun out there. And that shows on the court.
They brought it up during the broadcast. I think you're dead on. Like they asked the question: is Pope like ushering in like a new era of like how to coach in this more player empowered NIL, more fair era? I get, and we know people within the fan base, the fan base, right, that have gotten compared how Pope does it, and he's not as angry. He doesn't yell. He doesn't. He dropped an "oh my gosh" today. That was a big one. You've had a bad call when he gets that.
I saw
thing.
that.
That killed me. That he won't even say "oh my god." That you saw the sh on it. Gosh,
you could hear it. That's even if it's silent. He was pissed. but point is he's like he says, he's positivity driven. Like in how like the whole just everything he does is different than a lot of the old school coaches would do, and I think that's where this radiates from. So yeah, there's some losses that we've had, but like A&M was what 11th in the country or something like that. Was it?
Yep.
Depending on the All right, like no big deal. It's just Tuesday. Well, whatever. That's fantastic. I mean, the season's going
The,
unbelievably
the
well.
the other thing to note is that I mean I kind of forgot that A&M was that good. We never really broke away, but we also once we got up 10 or so, we kept the lead at least 8 like the rest of the game. It never at no point in the second half did I feel like it was really tight. I'd love to break away. I'd love to blow that 10.
What do you mean by that?
I'd love to blow that 10 into 15 into 20 and really feel comfortable watching it.
Like the what?
What?
You'd like to what?
Blow that 10-point lead into a 15 lead or a 20-point lead. But
Good for you, man.
the it's so much better to just maintain that 10 at least, and not have it where you're really sweating every possession. Are they going to take the lead?
Brady,
It's
what
a
do you think? Are you
similar.
blowing tens or?
If I'm lucky, yeah. I mean, I'm just happy to be there. You know what I mean? I got an invite, so I'm happy to blow tens. No, but it felt kind of like in the same way where they had to come back, or we're in the last game where they give up the run, they give up the lead, and they have to weather that storm, with Mississippi State. And then today it's more weather to keep maintaining the lead. Rupp got loud, man. I really like what they're doing at home. I mean, it's a hard place to play. Like I know a lot of people complain about the Blue Hairs or whatever, but it gets loud in there, and it's a hard place to win. Like that, I think that there's a distinct advantage. I think that if you can hold serve at home court like that, it's a huge deal. I mean, Alabama lost at home today. Anybody else lose at home? Florida's about to, right? Well, they're in a tight game. They probably won't lose, but either way, huge to win another. What is that? 4 top 15 wins, at least, right?
No big deal. No big deal.
But that's the thing is, it feels like no big deal, right? Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh well, like that's what's weird about it is. Hopefully, everyone believes at this point because, like, that's the 6th quad 1 or 2 win or 7th quad 1 or 2 win, I think.
What I was hearing
Well,
about A&M before the game was that
Mhm.
A&M was supposed to be this really good offensive rebounding team, and that rebounding obviously not being our strength going into this. We got more offensive rebounds than they did tonight. It was
So
12 to
they're
11,
really good.
but I
Yeah,
expected that to be much more in their favor than ours.
they're really, really. Buzz Williams, I'm pretty sure it's the only part of basketball he even enjoys is rebounding. He's literally their rebounding coach. They got that. Oh my God, you guys see the professor they have that like walks to the end of the bench and like
yeah.
calls out a play in case they miss a free throw. Like, no, no shit, you
The
guys
Civil
shoot
War general.
60. Hey man, somebody had a really funny nickname for him. I can't remember what it was. It was good. It was
Oh yeah, old prospector.
no, it was some sort of pun, but it had me crying. The man looked like he was about to tell me I had to read 30 pages of a book and talk about it tomorrow. But no, but they're not a great defensive rebounding team, but they do rebound the hell out of the ball offensively, and we did a really good job. And there, I think Amari took that kind of personal. I think Jaxson rebounded well too. Did he end up? I know he had 8 at one point. Where did he end up? He
He
didn't
ended
end up
up
getting
with
a
8.
double double.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, of course. As soon as they bring it up, he's not going to get another one. But yeah, Amari played outstanding. I mean, he played well, but man, he's okay. Hopefully, he just needs an ice bath or something. But he was just getting beat up all over the floor,
Yeah.
man. Rest in peace. Get well soon to whoever it was that Ortega put through that rim, though. My God, that I
We had
that
said
I,
we said
we
it.
did say,
You got to
but
keep going for it.
he snatched a soul, bro. I didn't even know it went in. Like it was so violent. Like I couldn't believe he put it through. Like I've seen a lot of blocks to the rim lately, not there. But props to the kid for going for the block though, so just getting out of the way. Like we don't get good posters if you don't try. Rip. But like, yeah.
And there was 2 things tonight that Jimmy Dykes would not stop talking about. One was the Texas A&M coach who calls offensive missed foul shot plays or something like that, where
He was
I guess they
furious when he
run
wouldn't.
stunts. Would not stop talking about that. Every single free throw opportunity. Look, he goes and stands at the end of the bench. That, and would not stop talking about Otega Oweh's double-digit points scored streak that he's done at every game. He did it again tonight, but it's like, are you trying to jinx him?
Or Pharrell
Yeah.
songs too. That's another thing that was a recurring theme.
As soon as Otega threw that dunk down, I was starting the stopwatch, waiting for them to say up and away. as soon as
you didn't get that far because he said it damn near. Didn't they say it like right after?
Yeah,
I
right
was
away.
typing out. I'm surprised that they haven't said and then quotation to put up and away, and he said it.
It's funny because I didn't even realize like this is obviously my first year like watching him in depth like all the time, and so I don't realize how these announcers get annoying or whatever. It makes me feel better when everyone ever watches like an Aggie game now, or Utah State game, I should say, because A&M Aggies, but yeah, Utah State game, and I'm like, God, these announcers can embarrass the hell out of me. And then they're probably not going to because they didn't seem that bad to me. You're probably just sick of them for listening to them for years, but they seem
Yeah,
fine.
probably.
Yeah,
So
we haven't gotten into Jimmy Dykes talking about guard your yard, drive the nail. He says the same things practically every game. I like Jimmy Dykes. Though.
Can somebody break
Jimmy's
down guard
jet?
the yard for me?
Jimmy's jet. You know Jimmy's jet? I feel like I'm saying that phrase entirely too often within a 10-second time span. I'm going to go on timeout.
Wow, New Mexico is down to San Jose. It's not great. Okay, they were playing really well earlier.
Looks like LSU is going to pull it out against Arkansas.
Yeah, I thought that game went final about 20 minutes ago when somebody said it went final about 20 minutes ago.
Weird.
Brother, I'm
Weird.
right. I'm right.
Yeah, like they hung it. Okay. Yeah, okay,
If
fair
you
enough.
think John Calipari is coming back from 9 down with under 6 minutes left, I don't know what to tell you.
Did we not just have a whole conversation about are you trying to jinx it? Because I feel
Oh
like
my
you're
God.
trying to.
Is Ohio State got fouled with 1 second left, down 1.
We were recording while these games are going on, and the people who are listening to this already know the outcomes of the games. This is horrible.
Interesting.
Oh, it's really not though, because here's why. They can feel like they were there with us at that moment, and that's how I pretend I have friends, is by doing this and then rewatching the videos later because you guys don't answer the phone when I call. So, yeah, Ohio State's only down 1, and I think they're shooting free throws.
Anyways, Amari Williams, it looks like he's turned a corner. He looks like an SEC big man, and I love to see it.
He played with a ton of effort tonight. There's been some criticism of his effort in other games, but I know at least 3, maybe 4 times he chased down rebounds. He wasn't even necessarily the closest person to them, and he went after them and he got them. I still think he gets maybe the worst whistle in college basketball. It's unbelievable.
He's huge. Yeah, he gets a terrible whistle.
I don't know if it's a case of playing basketball well, large and strong, and just getting called for that, or I don't get it. I think he just constantly gets these terrible calls against him, which is frustrating.
He's British. It's because he's British. He's yelling "Oi, bruv" at the ref. They don't know who he's talking about.
Well, and it ended up being fine tonight, but both he and Garrison had 4 apiece. And I guess we're lucky that we have Carr who can sort of slide over, and we get some late game Carr heroics when that happens. But man, I wish they would just let him play basketball.
Man, Carr played 25 minutes. I didn't think. Geez, that's really productive considering the city can barely walk, right? Like he's not sitting down during timeouts.
Yeah.
His back super set. Dang, I didn't. Anyway, sorry, Jared. I knew you were gonna say something. I just saw his minutes. I thought it'd done like a lot less than that. But that was pretty good.
Oh no, man, you're good. I did notice that it seems that we've grown or adjusted the way we play according to how the refs are calling it, because it seems like we're selling these fouls a little bit more, or we're not reacting as shocked to bad calls anymore, other than the completely egregious first half one on Amari where the guy was literally like undercutting him.
Yeah, right.
But there was certain plays where they would have a whistle and you could tell the guys certainly didn't agree with it, and they would just look at each other like, okay, and just go about it. So I love that. What's interesting is these aren't going to be the refs that we're going to have in the tournament. So I wonder how many teams are going to grow accustomed to playing around bad officiating and then see completely different refs as soon as tournament play starts, and how much that affects the results.
You're saying the SEC versus like other teams because they're gonna. How would you describe the SEC whistles? Like just inconsistent so far, or what would it like whistle happy? Like a little touching. Like I mean, they've been kind of Alabama. What was the 81 free throws in the Alabama A&M game the other day, or something like that?
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah,
And,
I'd
and,
say
and
inconsistent.
it wasn't even good to watch because A&M is a terrible free throw shooting team.
Oh yeah, but I love playing against teams that
They
shoot the free throw
call
portal.
plays during free throws. Ben, you don't
Maybe
get it.
maybe if they didn't do that, they'd hit more of them.
On God, it was kind of odd because like did you see he got like the one time because okay the guy announcing was like frustrated that he watched so much tape and it like didn't happen the first few times. So when Old Man River walked down there, finally he was hyped. And then when the free throw missed and the play didn't work, it was like the worst thing that happened to him all night. Like,
He hit the all shucks. He went.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He went, damn it. Like, yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. He was furious. What do you even? They're not even listening to you, bro. I promise they're not listening that much. Like, I know they love to rebound over there, but I know they look at each other and go, like, really? I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
I like the concept of it. Like, if you know you're a bad free throw shooting team,
practice
like
your
make
free
a strength out
throws.
of your
Yeah,
weakness.
well, I mean, it seems like the first thing to remind them is like box out, get the rebound. I mean, it's just it's funny that he thinks it's so novel that like they have a plan for if you miss. Like surely almost everyone has a plan for if they miss.
Yeah, it's called, yeah, yeah. But, like, they have a guy that does it that they were really excited about showing there he is. Oh my gosh, this guy. Somebody says he looks like a
LSU
psychologist
beat
that only
Arkansas, by
studies.
the way. So I was right. So
Yeah,
there
I
you
mean,
go.
it turned out that way, but I'm glad it worked out. That's really neat that they lost. It's weird. Damn it, though. The only thing about that, though, is I think the only team I picked them above was LSU. Now that I think about it, but they could still do that because LSU's probably not beating anybody else because it's only Arkansas. You know.
Well, according to our comments, Georgia's not beating anybody else.
Well, they did. So
Who would have thought? Not us.
it's the first Kentucky team to win their first 5 games. I hate stats like that, but first 5 game against top 25 teams in the season since 11 or 12. Okay, that was a
LeBron
good
said.
year. Okay, what? Yep. Yep. LeBron
Sometimes I
stats.
just like lighten a fuse and then just seeing what happens. Good job, though. You powered through. And you're a better man because of it. What are we talking about anymore?
One
According to the analytics, it doesn't really matter what we talk about right here. So we can kind of just have at it. You know what
one
I
thing that
mean?
was interesting was Lamont was empty from the field. He had 6 points and all came from free throws. But I didn't at any point feel like he was playing poorly. He actually had 6 turnovers too. I mean, I felt like he slipped that one time. I feel like he slips more than any player I've ever seen
Yeah.
playing basketball. He needs some new shoes or something. It's a problem. And he looked injured a couple times, but I certainly didn't feel like he hadn't made a field goal.
I
And
felt like
he
it
did have
was.
7 assists, which helps.
I felt like it was this. He actually. I wondered if he was just tired. He very rarely gets beat off the dribble 1-on-1, like almost never. And I think I counted 3 in the first half. Only 2 of them resulted in scores because we had some pretty good, rim protection. But there was one where it was just a straight drive to the layup, and I thought it must have been somebody else guarding him, and no, it was Butler. And wow, I hadn't seen anybody blow by him like that. So I wonder if he's. I mean, everyone has to. I mean, if you're not, what do they say? If you're not getting beat, sometimes you're not playing at a high enough level. If you've never been, beat at crossed over or something like that. So he had a not great game in my opinion. The stats kind of. I didn't realize it was. How many turnovers did you say? 6.
6.
Man, to have 17 turnovers, but only. Wow, what a weird game. That felt and shout out to Buzz. I really enjoyed watching him call timeouts at the end of that game. That was really helpful. I really hope that
You
made him
can't
feel
take him
better
with
about
you.
Jackson. Yeah, you can't. But you know what? You also can't leave here is the embarrassment Jackson put his ass in the blender twice. Like, good game, buddy. Why don't you go put your 3-piece suit back on? Get out of here. Go back to College Station. I can't stand that. Calling a timeout 30 seconds left. The hell are you gonna do? Trying to game the net,
Also,
probably.
the fact that Buzz Williams gets so upset about Jaxson looking at the bench when in the SEC tournament last year, when every time A&M would hit a big shot on us, you would literally have dudes pretending to like unload a clip at half court. It's like,
I'm
all right, this is a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black here.
I'm pretty sure on the second one, all he did was say, "Get your ass off the court," because they got a technical earlier for it. He was just trying to help them. So, because if the ref comes over and says it again, it's another free throw. Jaxson got a technical, learned his lesson, and said, "Let me shoot the but hey, you're going to want to back up though. They're going to give you another tech." So, just being a good
What
dude.
a
And
helpful young man.
It really is. He's just a good guy. I mean, really, he is though. That part's genuine. I don't think he gives or cares much for that man, Buzz Williams. It didn't seem, or at least they didn't seem to be the best of friends. I'll put it that way. That was fun. I like Jaxson like that. He plays really well, and he's got an edge to him. It seems like.
Well, guys, we got Alabama coming up. We want to talk a little Tide. Personally,
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Kentucky. Braden
Yeah, I'm gonna root for the Cats in this one.
and Ben.
I just hope both teams have fun.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so now
Ben
here it goes.
has
Here
a
we.
house divided rug in his place, and he lives alone.
It's true.
It's not that funny, but okay. So here's the thing, Ben. Now tell everyone. Now we might as well plug your Alabama podcast so that everyone can follow both sides of this story because you're very split down the middle. You got to clearly be on one side. So what's that one called?
There is no podcast.
Okay. I would know who I'd pick if Utah State and Kentucky played. That's all I'm saying. And
Well, some might say that makes you not a true fan.
I'm wearing a Utah State shirt, and I'm pretty sure I have for all 21, maybe like 18 of the 21 videos. But I get the point. Anyways, tell us about Alabama and what happened against Ole Miss tonight.
I'll say this: if Kentucky played Tidewater Community College, I'm still rooting for Kentucky. There, maybe I'm the best fan. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't have
Maybe
a
so.
basketball team that's competitive, I don't think, or like.
They do not. I asked multiple times. I did tell people that I played quarterback. Well, at community college.
Not that
They
I am
believed
going to
it
be
because they're dumb. They're at community college. Go on.
Wow. Number one, that does not represent the show's views on community college. It's a great way
I
to start
went
your
to
lives.
community.
I know,
I
but
went to
that's
community
again, you're not helping the cause. Hold on, listen. I wish Alabama hadn't lost to Ole Miss because they're probably not going to lose or they're probably going to be a little, more. I don't know, angry seems weird, but like I feel like it's really tough to be. That team's going to come back very motivated. You're going to get a very focused Alabama group because it's going to be tough to beat. I mean, they're a top 10 team for a reason. But I didn't get to see the Ole Miss game. I just know from the box score right now, it looks like it was a Chris Beard, throwback defensive masterclass where they just really turned the ball over a lot. But I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, 21 turnovers is never a recipe for success, especially when you only force 7. And Malik Dia ended up with 23 points, 19 boards. And when you're giving up boards like that and turning the ball over, you're going to take fewer shots than it looks like they took. Alabama had 47 field goal attempts to Ole Miss's 70. So huge disparity there. And actually, I mean, the free throw shooting was pretty similar. The 3-point shooting was pretty similar. It's just when you give them 23 more shots, they just hit a couple of them, you're really in bad shape.
Now, let me ask you this: in all the time, like I was looking through, it doesn't feel like they blow anybody out this year. I mean, they've had a couple, but it feels like every game they play is within 8 to 15 points. Now they're typically winning. They've won most of their games, but even I remember they'll get a big lead. How about this? Even McNeese State's a good example. They were like 21 or something, and it gets chiseled down to like 8 by the end of it. I feel like they beat Houston, right? Yeah, they beat Houston. That was close. When they played Oregon, was it close? I can't remember. Let's see.
North
Yeah,
Dakota.
That was close too. I think
North
outside
Dakota was close. They lost to Oregon.
Kent State wasn't close, but outside of that, I think everything
Well,
and South Dakota
so
State, North Dakota.
I think that the narrative of last year is not remembered correctly. Like, yeah, they had a great season, but they were also very inconsistent last season too. Uh, and they just have some clunkers sometimes, and I don't know why that is. It's super frustrating.
For
And
Alabama fans. Yeah.
yeah, right. Well, for anybody whose team is
I
dropping
know.
games, they should.
Yeah, those people that aren't Alabama fans, they root for Alabama.
Those people too.
There's dozens of
Um,
them.
Tonight, Darian Reed was out. I don't know. He's been good for 10 to 15 points probably a game. I'm not sure why and don't know when he'll be back, so I'm not sure if he'll play against Kentucky or not. There's still, I think. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, like, the 21 turnovers they had tonight. I again, I haven't done a deep dive on them. Have they had an issue turning the ball over all year? Or was that a Chris Beard Ole Miss?
I don't think like that. I think this is sort of an outlier, but it was almost every player. It was the just sort of going down the list of turnovers by player: 3-1, 5-2, 3-2, 2-3. I mean, it's everybody had. Mark
Wow.
Sears was the only player without multiple turnovers.
Do you have the points off turnovers, just out of curiosity, that Ole Miss had? I'm just trying to
Yeah,
get a
let's
picture.
see.
Is Grant
It's actually
Nelson?
not that many.
Really? Okay.
19.
That's a lot in a game in which you only score 74, though. But off 21 turnovers, no, you're right.
Right.
And Jared, go ahead.
Well, and so Alabama had 10 points off turnovers with only forcing 7.
7, yeah.
Is Alabama star Grant Nelson Bizarro Andrew Carr?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's fair.
just Bizarro, just meaning.
Maybe personality wise, just vibes wise.
Okay, all right.
I like Grant Nelson's game. I think Grant Nelson's a good ball player. From what
He's
I've
almost
seen of
from
him.
North Dakota.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real bright guy. Yeah, good player.
Yeah, it's just so what's weird is maybe I'm just when I think of Alabama, I think of last year's team. I think most people do. It's just now hitting me. Last year's Alabama team actually pretty similar to this year's Kentucky team in terms of like offensively, like they could go off at any moment, but there's some questions with the defense. And that kind of was with Alabama all year last year until they get to the tournament and locked in.
And frankly, Kentucky all year last year. The
Very
difference
true.
was I thought Kentucky was better offensively than Alabama, and a little bit better defensively. But that's not what people remember. People remember the tournament run, and that's how they that when you look back, that casts a light on the whole season. And so I think Alabama added good pieces to this year's team. But then Latrell Wrightsell and Houston Mallett are both redshirting now. Youngblood was out until like mid-December, so he's just getting back into it. And now with Reed out for I'm not sure how long. Definitely some injury roster management type stuff. That's maybe keeping them from playing as well as they could. But yeah, I think that last year they had very, very similar ups and downs to us. The only real difference was that they made a run in the tournament, and we know how our season ended.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you think would be the biggest mismatch? Like, is there anyone on Alabama that you think could match up with a Jaxson? Or do you think this could be another game where Jaxson could pop off again?
I don't know. I'd be interested to see sort of how the bigs match up. Cliff looks good a lot. I need to go back and rewatch tonight's game, but he only played 13 minutes tonight. And so if they're only getting 13 minutes from him, that means they have Grant Nelson at the 5 and sort of in true Bizarro Andrew Carr world, I mean, it's sort of the same thing. He can do it, but you'd rather it be Amari or BG. And so I'm not sure what it was, because wasn't in foul trouble. So I don't know. But I
think
thought one of their issues last year was that Grant Nelson was sort of forced to play the 5, and so bringing Cliff in, they could move Nelson down to the 4, and that would be great.
you think
But if you're
Cliff
playing him at the 5
could
anyway,
beat us
who
up on the
knows?
boards?
I think Cliff's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's you never really know until you see two guys match up. Like you can in your head have an idea of who's going to be more physical, who's going to get to the ball. If Amari plays like he did tonight and hustles, that's great. I mean, that goes a long way, especially on the offensive side when you have those long rebounds. If he can hustle and get to them and impact where the ball goes, that'll really help Kentucky, I think.
2 weeks ago when we played Florida, they talked about how that was like the highest scoring game with the 2 top 10 teams, blah, blah, blah. I feel like that record might only stand for 2 weeks until this Alabama team plays this Kentucky team, because there might be a lot of points scored in this one. So this should be a fun one.
What was the score last year? It was disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome, but it was 117 to 95. And that's a lot of offense.
Yeah. Both teams play a fun brand of basketball. Personally, I'm picking the Cats. So I don't know. I don't love that Alabama loss tonight, because I would have preferred, catching them on one. But it's kind of a unstoppable force making an immovable object. Will Alabama lose 2 in a row, or will Kentucky lose one at Rupp? Both seem kind of tough to wrap your head around, especially because I feel like Rupp's gonna be loud again, because Alabama's coming off their run from last year, and they have a reputation about them now.
I think you almost have to get this one if you're Kentucky now, because I mean, I was a little worried. I hadn't seen anybody play defense, and not that I'm saying we're going to play defense like Ole Miss did or anything, but to see a game like that, where I mean, that was probably the first time all year that Bama's been like beaten, like, and that's a little surprising. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back. But I waffle on whether or not like them losing or winning. Really, I know I said I'd rather them not lose beforehand, but like they could gain just as much confidence from having won that game to come into Rupp. So they've played a lot of road games too. Not a lot of teams have at this point. I think they played like 7 road games or 5 road games,
Yeah.
something like that. And
Yeah,
not
well,
not a lot of teams have. So
they played Purdue on the road early, and that was a pretty good loss. I mean, I guess it ended up being 9 points, but that gap felt big. But yeah, they have played a lot of away games. They should be in a better spot than most teams at this point in terms of how they feel, the comfort they feel on the road.
yeah,
I think Kentucky's been playing better the last couple games. I think that really, as Jaxson has looked good, the team has looked good,
yeah.
and so I'd take Kentucky to win a close one, especially if that keeps up. I don't imagine Kentucky's going to turn Alabama over 21 times. I think that was an outlier, but I do think it'll be pretty close.
Yeah, I'd probably Cats in a 2-point game. I pick them. I mean, I think it's gonna come right down to the wire. It might be a classic, honestly. Yeah, this will be fun. This is one of the ones you look forward to for sure.
I'm interested in seeing Mark Sears versus Lamont Butler. There's 2 very different players there going at each other.
We'll have 2 very different coaches too. I think the style of Mark Pope and Nate Oates are pretty different in personality and coaching style, not how their teams play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be great though. I mean, it's How good is this league though? Everybody, again, we're not even talking about a win over what was the number 11 team in the country, because it was just like the appetizer to this next one. It's pretty crazy when you think about it.
We got a heck of a run coming up here because, we got Alabama, Vandy, and then right after that's Tennessee, Arkansas, Ole Miss. Like this could be the best conference in the history of college basketball.
Yeah, this is like mid 2000s ACC, man. This is nuts. Alabama, you get the Alabama one, then you get Tennessee. Yeah, when the weakest stretch over the next little while is Arkansas, Ole Miss, South Carolina. Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough.
Even like a game like at Vandy, like that's not a given. That's a weird arena.
No, outside of playing Arkansas, there's not a lot of nights off in the league. Just kidding.
This is gonna be the craziest environment, man.
Oh God, yeah.
All right, we want to pick MVPs for the game. I got mine.
Yeah. Is it gonna be Jaxson again? It is, right?
It's tempting because I in my heart I believe it's Jaxson, but give me Travis Perry, man. Travis Perry out of nowhere.
Travis Perry goes off. Let's say I'll give you even like if he's like substantially a factor, like he makes like 4 threes, I'm giving it to you. If somebody else could play better, but a Travis Perry like double-digit performance, I'll give you that if he hits that. All right.
I'll go Amari. Does
it have to be someone on Kentucky?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering if you had both.
I'm saying yes.
Freaking dual citizenships over here. We used to be a proper country.
Yeah, it feels a lot like never mind. Go on. Fan's like a pansexual fan. He just roots for whatever feels right that day. Probably. I'm just kidding. It's just 2 teams. It's just bye. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Jaxson, and they're gonna win by 2.
All right, guys. Any closing thoughts on this game, Alabama game? Anything you want to confess or get off your chest, or any deep dark secrets you've been hiding? Did you?
I got this in the mail the other day. I don't know where it came from. Just nice gift.
Not everybody's gonna get that. That's for a very select group of people.
Now, for that very select group of people, is that what it would have been? That's what we thought we were. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're still watching at this point and you got that joke, go ahead and write in the comments, "Where's Bear?" and we'll know. We'll know you're a real one.
Throw a wink face for Auntie Ashley. She wants to hear from the crew. Jasper's been a little absent lately, so
we're getting too inside baseball here.
Yeah, we are.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining the Catican. For Ben, for Braden, I'm Jared, and go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats. I'd love to blow that 10.